for anybody that can find their way into here, right? Make sure that we are live. When we are. Okay, so let's see if we can let some people know. So send them the one for the show on Friday. That should be the right one. Send them out and say, hey guys, we're having internet issues this morning. So we're now sending it from that one.
We take down the old and put up the new.
Yes, take down the old, put up the new, or add it, make it an additive.
We had some technical difficulties, but coffee's on. Me and Mike made it.
Yes, coffee's on. That's what the coffee's for.
We need a second cup by the time we get on.
I know. I'm kind of almost there. So let me see.
Yeah. It's
So it's the one that says 9 is the one that's actually live now, and I'm looking at it right now. And 2 people joined on. Maybe it's me and you.
Probably just you and me, by the way, at this point.
Yeah, at this point. But I do see it. And we're live for all you people who are watching this on YouTube, busy like as a replay. We started this morning and there was a freeze last night, and apparently our internet froze up too. Because we had freezing internet. Philip made it. Oh yeah, let me get rid of the echo from Paul. That's my bad.
See where Philip is. Well, it sort of wouldn't be a post-Mardi Gras show if it wasn't completely in disarray.
Yes, if it wasn't completely trashed, right? Let me get rid of Paul's echo.
Right, for that matter.
Paul's echo should go away, Philip.
Even though we were home.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't echo.
Thanks, Philip. We were telling people that our internet froze. We started up on the other one, and the internet freaked out. So thank you for finding us.
Yeah, it's a search today.
It's a what today? I'm sorry.
It's a search today for the show.
Oh, yes. Today's the search. The searching for the Paul Sanchez show. Let me get rid of this here. Make this go away. I've been watching a new show. Speaking of shows.
Which show?
The Expanse.
What's it called?
The Expanse. It's
about pants at Thanksgiving?
No. Expanse. Like, it's a space show. It's the one that, I forgot where it was. I think it was on Amazon and it got moved over to Netflix, picked it up or something like that. Anyway, it's based off of these books. It's imagining a world, basically a few generations, maybe 150, 200 years into the future where Mars is colonized.
You love the science fiction.
Oh, I do. I had to go into space. It was all about me getting into space. I was like, I felt I needed to look at some space stuff, and this is full of space stuff. Actually, a good show. It's a lot of political. It's so you got Mars, which all the people that are there. It's so funny because they're very. The Martian people are one way, and then there's the people of Earth, and then there's these people that they put in the asteroid belts. They're the belters.
No, it says it's the differences that make us really special and unique, and yet it's the differences that get in the way of the politics.
Certainly does. Certainly does. And even on that thing.
For first of all, it's not as warm a planet as Earth, Mars.
No.
It's further from the sun. So in general, the lack of warmth affects their personalities. They're just more distant people. They're bundled up and they don't have the same physical kind of thing.
And you picked that up without even seeing the show.
Well, it's very similar to Minneapolis people.
So the Minneapolis people are the Martians, basically.
It's in there at this time of year, and it's cold. It's Mars-like cold.
Yes.
I get videos. My friend Rob Welch sent me a video of his son throwing boiling water into the air that turned into snow instantly because it was 22 degrees below zero. That's the real deal. So, yes. I mean, close to Martian temperatures. I think they could probably colonize a few people from Minneapolis right on Mars, and they'd just be like, yeah, shorts and T-shirts. This is cool.
I mean, you look at the people in Texas right now, and
Texas.
Right. I mean,
I mean, because they don't get that kind of weather. Like it would be
No.
like us haven't had that
By the way,
snowstorm.
we had somebody watching from Houston the other day. I hope you're okay.
People, I have friends there, and power's an issue, and people are charging their phones in their cars and staying warm in their cars. In some cases,
Oh, by the
it's
way, I have a good bit of news. Like never ever try to run your coffee machine off the power of your car. Just a little.
you
little
tried.
Yes, yes. During the last hurricane, we had a
What
brilliant idea. We
What
popped
happened?
every fuse in the car. So I had to go get fuses later that day. I mean, popped them all. I popped ones under the hood I didn't even know existed. I'm like going, it's still not working. So yeah, it's. I'm lucky I didn't start a fire.
What'd you do for Mardi Gras, by the way?
I was supposed to go off yesterday to meet Brian, and first of all, I went to the doctor's office because I had an appointment, and it was shut down. Like my floor. It's the weirdest thing. Like I go in every Tuesday, I go to get my doctor's appointment for my foot and whatnot, and so I go up to the 5th floor like always. I mean, they let me in. They gave me the little sticker. Look, I've still got my coat on a sticker in my coat. They let me in. I go up to the 5th floor. Nobody. Lights are out. Like, and then finally, I'm like, found somebody, and I'm like, are we saving power or what's going on here? So no, they're shut down. So I left and I went home.
What?
Then I tried to stop at a fast food place because I was going to go over the lake and meet up with Brian to go do some mixing, and the fast food places were closed. And I'm like, you know what? This is probably a bad idea. So I came home and I watched a half a season of The Expanse.
There you go.
Yeah.
Science fiction.
Science fiction.
Bang.
Yeah, it was cold outside. It was cold on the show. It matched.
Cool, man. I kept the fire going and, read and napped and occasionally, woo-wooed for Mardi Gras.
So that's a real fire you got going back there, huh?
Got the fire going on behind me, yes, because it's cold.
Yeah, no, that's nice, though. I mean, I wish we had I haven't had a fireplace till the place I actually own in Mount Joliet has a fireplace, and we used to enjoy making fires. My wife, do you do Duraflame, or do you just really work the wood and make it happen?
Both, you got to do what you got to do in these cold times, man. They were running low on wood at the Langensteins and the Bromart and
so you had to do a couple of Duraflames.
Wood. So I got what wood I could.
Yeah, I understand. And in Tennessee, they would sell the bundles like just on the side of the road. People just you'd stop and pick up a bundle for $5.
I don't do that here.
No reason to do that here. You remember?
I feel like episode of Gilligan's Island where if that fire dies, we die, Gilligan.
I don't know if I saw that, but it sounds a little dire for Gilligan's Island.
Well, they had some dire episodes.
And maybe I can take off the snow clothes.
In comedy, it is comedy, if not tragedy, flipped.
I should have paid closer attention to Gilligan because I have heard there's a lot of philosophy there.
You just took off a big jacket, and then you got a big jacket on under that,
and then two flannels.
Two flannels and a T-shirt.
Oh yeah, I'm not playing, man. All right, our friend from Houston says things are better. He says he's doing okay.
Good, glad to hear it.
Yes, thank you. It's
nice to hear.
His name is Stinger. His name on the YouTube there is Stinger.
I know a Stinger in Atlanta. I don't know a Stinger in Houston, but I know lots of folks in Houston, so I'm glad to hear that it's better. Although, man, it looked brutal. It just looked brutal.
Yeah, it does. And I'm sure at places it still is brutal.
We don't do. I mean, like cold is brutal for us.
Yeah.
It got cold and people were freaking the hell out. Like transformers are blowing because it's cold. There wasn't snow. There wasn't a snowstorm that buried the wires or anything. It's just cold, and the transformers that are used to, just sitting down here having daiquiris and sitting among tropical trees and stuff, and all of a sudden the transformers are like, "Whoa, it got cold all of a sudden, man! Whoa!" And they all blew for no reason. It's cold. It's pretty much how I felt when I walked outside.
I lost power last night for about 3 hours.
My friend Latanya lives down here. She moved down here from Maryland. She was complaining about the cold, and she's from Maryland.
Yeah, it's a different kind of cold here, though. It's bone chilling here. It's like because of the humidity adds up with the cold, and
I think once you get down past 30 degrees, it's just it's very similar cold.
Mm-hmm.
As a woman in Detroit once said to me, "Butt ass cold."
Butt ass cold. That's right. It is butt ass cold outside.
Butt ass cold outside.
Um, oh yeah, I lost power. I think I was telling you that. I lost power last night for about 2 hours, and the temperature dropped.
Oh
In
God.
2 hours, the temperature dropped like
I'll bet.
8 degrees or something like that, 9 degrees in the house. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, it's dropped pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Wow. Yeah, I had a couple of friends uptown that lost some power last night for a couple hours.
Oh, we looked at
That
the
would have
at the at the grid, and we were like right on the corner of the grid. Like we were the only. My neighbor on this side had power. My neighbor on that side had power. My neighbor across the street had power. We didn't have power. It was nuts.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
I thought something happened to our house. I was outside looking at the dang, I'm going through the fuse boxes going, it's got to be something wrong with the house. No,
Oh my God.
no. We were part of that.
My friend Mark Hughes, who watches this, he's up in Maryland and probably knee deep in snow right now, literally. He said that he wanted to know more about like how we met because we seem like we've known each other since we were kids. And he said, "I know you haven't." And I said, "But we kind of. Well, you were a kid. You were 18,
Yeah,
right?
it's 18, 19, something like that.
And you came to work for Cowboy Mouth, and Fred had known you from Dash Rip Rock. So I knew you when you were still a kid, really. I mean, I was much older. I was 31, and then I knew you as a sound man. And then of course I made most of my records with you before the flood.
Right.
You know, my solo records,
I had that place.
pretty much all. Yeah, at your place out in Miro before it got 35 feet of water. That was good. You know, that was a decade of making records together. And, you know, like we talked about last show, where one of them I just recorded acoustic tracks and left it with you to put whatever you wanted on it. You and your band Beaten Path played on it. And you got all kinds of other musicians on it. It was Sonoma Valley. It was a great thing. So we had that relationship. And then, of course, your band Beaten Path, which I always thought was one of the great, you know, undiscovered original rock bands of the 90s in New Orleans. And it was really, you and Skeet wrote great songs, and the band had killer harmonies, and, you know, Ecker's always got that great fat groove, and, you know, it was a really great rock band. And so I went to a lot of your shows, and of course you guys opened up for Cowboy Mouth plenty of nights because Fred was a fan. And, you know,
I remember when
crazy.
y'all took us on the, after Katrina, y'all took us on a tour for a bit, and that was a lot of fun, us trying to follow you guys in your bus. And it reminded me of,
right.
It reminded me of put the shoe on the other foot, like, because we were following you guys in this RV, beat up old RV camper. And it reminded me of Cowboy Mouth's early days where we were trying to follow Matchbox 20 around or whoever the heck we were opening for at the time.
Yeah. On Hootie around in the Nun shuttle bus while they were in their tour bus,
Right.
you know.
Right. And then they'd invite one of you guys to ride from city to city, and, you know, so somebody would always be in the bus.
We got to ride the tour bus,
Right,
you know.
right.
He invited me to ride with him, guys. I'm like, oh, you son of
Right. But it wasn't that bad because when we had more room then too. So I was like, yeah, go ahead, ride in the tour bus. It's cool. Now we can stretch out, you know, because that thing was it was a lot of fun. But I remember driving through Texas. That thing did not like Texas.
You know, it wasn't climate controlled.
That's true.
When it was hot, because it was those little sliding windows and the little tiny unit up front. So, I mean, it was the Little Sisters of the Poor to pick up, you know, handicapped elderly people. They didn't think about going cross country through the mountains. So when we'd be in the desert in Texas, we'd be just bitterly hot with like the windows open. Oh man, it's a drag. And then going through the mountains, you'd be wrapped up in your blankets and jackets, and, you know, it was a questionable touring vehicle at best.
Right.
But when we were driving around the South, it was great.
Real quick, Stinger's he's in Atlanta, so I guess Stinger isn't the guy. Didn't you say you knew a guy named Stinger in Atlanta?
No, I knew a guy in Atlanta. Yeah,
yeah, that's him. Yeah. That's him. It's Stinger in Atlanta. Yeah,
yeah. He should go on Jonathan Pretis's podcast because he knows more about the Beatles than anybody that I ever met in my life, and I know a lot about the Beatles.
Really? So Stinger, did you see the Get Back trailer? I'm assuming that you might have seen the Get Back trailer at this point.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although, you know, Eddie Ecker posted immediately, it's a 5-minute trailer and there's shots of every one of the Beatles playing drums. Imagine what they had in all the footage. Imagine poor Ringo. He had a bitch for Ringo.
Yes, he did. He was bitching for Ringo. It's like, hey, if you want to play the drums, play the drums. Go for it. You know, whatever.
I'm excited about it just because, you know, like, Peter Jackson has the footage that shows them being joyful making music.
Right.
Now, they were at a period where they were ending. Nobody felt like dealing with that film or that album. They handed the album over to Phil Spector, and he put all the giant strings and stuff that McCartney eventually took off on the Naked mix,
Mm-hmm.
and they let the director do what he wanted, and the director laid out this sort of tragic tale of a band disintegrating.
Right.
And it's a cool movie like that. I enjoyed it when I was a kid. It was sad, and the band's disintegrating, and so on and forth. But Ringo said when he first saw the footage, as a band member, he was like, "That's us. That's how we used to be in the studio. We danced and laughed, and it was fun to make music."
Right.
And that's even when things got tough with me and Cowboy Mouth, for instance. When we played, it was still fun to play music.
Mm-hmm.
Known Fred since he was 17 and I was 21, so it was still fun to play music, even when there were tough business or personality things going on. And that's how it was for them. I'm glad that movie's going to come out. I can't wait to see what Peter Jackson does with it.
Me too. I love the idea of them, because that's the thing that you notice right off the bat in that trailer, is that this is these guys, they still love each other and stuff. And remember, Let It Bleed was actually recorded before Abbey Road. Like, Abbey Road was them coming back to try to make,
right.
A real Beatles record. So Let It Be is not really the story of the breakup of the band. It's just a moment in time when they were having some issues. They were in business together at this point, so there was a lot of extra.
It's all all of life is just a moment in time. But record making, I was in the studio with Griff and Fred. We were making a record early on, and Fred and I, since we'd known each other for so long, sometimes we'd fight like brothers, and we were in the middle of some stupid fight about whatever to do with the song. And we turned to Griff, who was like the most I don't want to fight dude ever. And he turned to Griff and go, "Hey man, what do you think?" And he goes, "I don't know, man. It's just another record. I'm going to make plenty of them in my life." And that became my mantra.
Uh-huh.
Don't get hung up on the what's of it. Just let's just a record. Let's just make it and let's move on and make more.
Not to mention, I mean, I did like, there was a time in music where, these records would sort of be a stamp of where, a band was at a certain time when people were doing more natural, before the Pro Tools revolution came up and everybody could control every moment of everything that they were doing.
Right.
It was kind of fun because it would be these changes, to music that would, anyway, you'd hear them, like, the band grow. Every album was like something new, and it was.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Shamar Allen,
mm-hmm.
because I admire the young people. I admire what he does as a producer. But I know that after working Pro Tools and all that stuff on a few records, when I did the record before last, I went to Mark Bingham and I just said, "I don't want any pasting or copying. I want it to be like we had tape. I want to go in there with the band and record live tracks like it's a real band playing rock and roll."
Mm-hmm. And
it was great fun. We're all in the same room, and Mark loved it because he's not afraid of that moment. He's not afraid of bleed over. I was in there singing with the band.
Right.
It was great fun. And he had brought out the special drum. Carlo Nuccio was a drummer on the record, and he had this big black drum that was like the loudest drum ever. And he was so excited to play some rock and roll songs. He brought it out and bashed, man. It was fun. That's how rock and roll is supposed to be made, with a little tension, with a little energy and sweat and chemistry going on.
What an amazing drummer he is. My goodness. He's always been my favorite of all of the, New Orleans has plenty of great.
It's like Alex is on guitar. Carlo is so adaptable to the style of music.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard him play really delicately behind someone like Dana Kurtz. I've heard him go old school rock and roll on me. Like, I pulled out Jim Carroll's "People Who Died," and he rocked the crap out of it. Afterwards, he's turned to me, he goes, "Man, you started playing that song," and I thought, this old bastard's about to turn 60. He's going to try this? All right, I'm going to push him.
What a great tune, man. I love that tune. I haven't heard that in ages. I think the last time I heard it was in a movie.
I was close sets with it when I had Carlo and Ray Ganeshaw was playing bass and Alex on guitar and Justin Molison playing rhythm. So it was a pretty rocking band. And it was, if the crowd called for an encore, we were doing The People Who Died. And it was fun.
Have you, Mark wants to know if either ever saw Sound City. I did see Sound City, by the way, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. So Sound City was a documentary on a studio in Southern California where Fleetwood Mac made Rumors, and the the Nirvana record was made there. Funnily enough, I mean, at that point, the studio was kind of dead, and Nirvana's first record was made there because it was cheap. And anyway, I think Dave Grohl bought the console out of there or whatever. But the story, the history of this thing is Rick Springfield was on that label. The guy who owned Sound City signed Rick Springfield to a label contract. So, I mean, they got quite a history, but the Fleetwood Mac stuff was the most amazing because they kind of had Lindsey Buckingham, and they're the whole reason Fleetwood Mac got together with the Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks version of it. Came through working at that studio. They played a demo of Lindsey and Stevie's for Mac, the drummer, when he was in there, and to show off the studio, and it just turns out he loved the players too. He's like, "Can you hook me up with these guys?" And of course,
that's funny.
Buckingham wouldn't go unless she came, and then it became sort of a thing out of that place. But
Crazy,
very, very cool. Yeah, Sound City. I think you can find it on YouTube for free, by the way. I think that's where I found it. Somebody has posted it or something somewhere. But
so many places to find music,
mm-hmm.
Or movies. Like Shamar asked me when Michael Jackson died, "Hey, Uncle Paul, you think there'll be another Michael Jackson?" And I said no, because when he was starting out, there were 3 networks. That meant at least a third of the country was watching you, if not more. Now, there's 1,000 different ways to see something on the internet, and endless ways really to see something on the internet. And there can't be another Michael Jackson or singular celebrities, because there's a planet full of talented people who are getting a chance to be seen and heard.
Right.
And in a way, I sort of like that. I'm glad I grew up in the genre of a Bob Dylan. I still revere his work and revere his contrary nature to his own public image, how he treated that. And but I kind of like the wide open field that young, talented kids can make something and get it out on YouTube or whatever their system of getting it out there is and be heard. I mean, that's what I wanted. I just want somebody to hear me, man. I didn't really care how many. I remember when Cowboy Mouth first started out, we were recording in Nashville, and Griff knew somebody who could get us free tickets to see Tom Petty at an amphitheater in Nashville. And we're sitting on the hill this beautiful night, and Tom Petty's doing the Great Wide Open tour, and he's walking down a limb of a giant tree with the big hat on his head that Griff eventually got one like. And it was a nice night. And Griff turns to me, and Nancy Griffith was playing at the Bluebird that night, sold out like 150 people, whatever. And Griff turns to me and goes, "So who would you rather be tonight? Playing the Bluebird sold out or playing the amphitheater?" I said, "No question, playing the Bluebird sold out. I want 250 people listening to my songs." Right. And he turned to Fred and said, "What about you, Freddie?" And Fred went, "Bluebird." And he went, "Freddie." And Fred went, "Right here." Because he always wanted the big rock show. And I really always wanted just to pay a few people listening is cool. Mm-hmm. So that's what I feel like the young people, they got a few people listening. They'll never be as big as Michael Jackson, but they won't be ignored.
Right. Well, the other aspect of today's thing is how quickly things move on, right?
Now, things do move on. It's a scroll generation. They're scrolling right past some of the greatest art ever. But
I think that's the biggest key to why you won't have a mic more than because access. I mean, somebody gets a big Twitter push or whatever like that. But the thing is that people won't even watch the whole song now. They'll watch and be like, "Man, wow, look at you can do that moon dance. Wow, that's awesome. Who's next?"
That's what we talked about that too.
Yes.
Savoring the moment,
right.
Has been lost a bit. And I think the pandemic's been good, at least for me anyway, to slow down a bit and not be running all around the country and savor the moment.
Right.
Of having a little home time and heal time and, grow time.
Yeah. Agreed. What is, I'm sorry, I'm just looking to see if anybody's, I got a text from a friend of mine. It says he's up. We're going to see if we can maybe go run across the lake today and see if we can get over there without the road freezing over. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. P was iced over.
Beautiful sentiment from the Tom Petty show. Nice. Tom Petty had a show?
The story I just told.
Gotcha. Oh, that was the song from the Tom Petty show.
For people out there who are listening to me,
Yeah, yeah. No, I heard the part about Fred.
you know,
Oh
you're
my
checking
gosh.
levels and thinking about going to the North Shore. You're not really focused on me today. You don't really care.
Well,
It's the day of Mardi Gras.
it's the day after Mardi Gras. That's right. I mean, my goodness, man.
And that's crazy. It's quite possibly the most coherent day after Mardi Gras I've ever had in my life.
See, I'd have to agree with that one. You know, I did smoke a lot yesterday, though. I will admit.
And, I had a couple of cocktails, but it wasn't like I was out in the streets,
Right. Right. Did I even have a beer yesterday? I don't even think I had a beer yesterday. No, I'm suddenly sad. I kind of wish I would have got drunk last night now. I don't know why. Part of me wishes that.
Just out of obligation.
Yeah. Like at least I could have been doing my part, getting drunk at home, throwing up, get drunk till you throw up.
Let's face it, we've done our part for many years.
This is true. Although I was gone for 15.
You were gone for 15 Mardi Gras,
Mhm.
but when you were here, you partied like you partied for 15 Mardi Gras.
Yeah. I guess we did it all up in the 15 I was here or whatever. Or the
Their Mardi Gras
30th.
we still can't talk about. It was pre-Facebook
Yes.
and pre-phones, so you were free to really be free at Mardi
Yeah,
Gras.
you could actually do whatever the heck you wanted back then, without,
Well, I used to tell my friends that came in from out of town, don't get violent
right.
and don't be on a police station. Other than that, you can pretty much do anything. And these buddies of mine came down from Boston, and one of them, a guy named Josh, called us at about 5 in the morning to come bail him out because he had lost a quarter. And sure enough, he had to take a leak, and it's that French Quarter police station that doesn't look like a police station. He thought it was just peeing on a hotel. Next thing you know, he got a tap on the shoulder.
I know that guy. I was going to tell the same story. I just didn't know who it was. But yeah, I remember there was a friend that had that had to get bailed out.
From the jail to the airport, reeking of alcohol and pee, and put him on the plane back to Boston.
And you'd figure Bostonites could handle it, right? I mean, coming down here.
The bar's still closed in Boston.
It's
Like
true.
those boys can drink. My Boston friends, I will not slight them in their ability to hold their liquor. But the bar's
Dude's still
closed.
closed.
And coming to New Orleans for the first time, it's not just like you dealing with the bars being open, it's Mardi Gras.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
It's wide open.
It's wide open.
To a young man in his 20s from Boston coming down for the first time, it's like.
In fact, the limits
No.
might be what keep those Boston guys in check, right? I mean, it might be the one that's like, hey, great, we have limits, like you said, but here, grab it in the bar, take it out on the street, drink as much as you want, pour your own into
And they
the
were like-
bottle. No, without any restraints. It's like, yeah, most people do.
My friend Steve Brennan liked it so much he came back and worked as many movies as he could in New Orleans because he just loved being in New Orleans, living in New Orleans.
Chris Finney he thinks that if they ever do legalize marijuana here, that we will be basically the oh my God, I can't believe I just lost. It's a place in Europe. Everybody goes and yeah. So he believes.
I think there would have been a time when that was so, but I mean, it's going legal throughout the nation.
No, just the idea of New Orleans being a special place that, because I know it's legal in Vegas and a bunch of. Dude, I was in Michigan. I couldn't believe. I flew to Michigan earlier this year, and I drove past a dispensary, and I'm like, it's legal in Michigan? Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, it's making, states are impoverished. The roads need rebuilding, and marijuana taxes in Colorado and California have helped. Of course, my friend Rob Savoy, who's a great comedian, used to play bass he plays bass with Creole String Beans. He was in the mouth with me. The first year, Colorado announced that they had a $40 million surplus in taxes because of the marijuana sales. Rob, once you see a Louisiana politician could seize on that and say, we had a $40 million surplus in marijuana sales, and with that $30 million surplus, we are going to build you $15 million worth of highways.
That's right. That's right. When the right people get connected, I I thought it was funny when John Boehner got involved, right? All of a sudden you heard that he was involved in some ones that were pushing legislation through the different states.
Marijuana when he was Speaker of the House, and then of course once he got out,
Yeah.
who's got the highest bidder?
Of course. It's money, money, money at that point.
We're not going into politics, Mike.
No. It wasn't about that. It was just about their money. There's money in there, and we're going to be the new Amsterdam because New Orleans is cool, and that's what I said.
But California's pretty cool, and Colorado's pretty cool.
Yeah, but they have fires and earthquakes and stuff.
Pretty cool.
You can run from a hurricane. Hurricanes are easy to run from. You know they're coming. They're slow as hell. You say, hey, it's way out. It's 5 days away. Let me get the hell out of here.
And you see, people like you and I, that's the dialogue. We go, hey, you got time, let's go, because you lost your house, 35 feet of water. I lost my house, rooftop level water. And I am with someone who did not lose their house. And so hurricane's coming, and I'm like, okay, so what day do you want to leave? Right. And she's like, oh, it's only a and we're like, it's a 2. That's good for me. Right. I'm ready to leave on a tropical storm.
Right.
No, it's only a 4. Well, it's only a 4. I mean, I lost a house to a 4
right.
before.
Right.
That tension getting,
Yeah, it is a little.
But she's an auctioneer, so she got to stay for the hospital, and she wants to be responsible and stuff. And and I can't just leave. That would be ungentlemanly.
Yes, be like, honey, look, when you need a ride, I'll come back for you, I guess. But
I will say that, as you well know, losing all your stuff sucks.
Yeah,
it's not something you want to live through twice.
No. I mean, the houses burn down and things like that. I just feel free.
Although my friend Luis Marquez lives up in Chicago, and he posted a cartoon on Facebook of a little bear trudging through the snow up to its waist, and the caption was, "At least I don't live where there's hurricanes."
So I understand. Skeet was telling me a story about a hurricane party story about his daughter when she was like 2 years old would sing your song about beating on my buddies with a baseball bat and a cute little 2-year-old girl.
That song "Hurricane Party," which is a favorite amongst people that experience hurricanes, and I'm pleased about that, because it's 25 years old and people still pull it out if there's a hurricane coming. But it's really meant for adults.
Right.
And back when I was touring with Cowboy Mouth, especially, it still happened, but Cowboy Mouth, as their fans were having kids and stuff, they would come up and tell me, "Oh, my 5-year-old sang that for his kindergarten class," and I'm just like, "Wow, that's not cool, man."
That's not what I intended at all.
That's up him and his friends. I don't know how you got the teacher to let go of that, but
right.
Yeah, it wasn't. Little kids love it because it's a very simple little melody, right. And they understand baseball bat, and it's all very simple. But it's
at the party, right? Hey, we're singing at the party.
My ass and beating on my buddies with a baseball bat's not really, as a parent, what you. But the parents loved it, and they were happy. The kids were singing along. I guess they were happy the kids were singing with anything.
Yeah.
Like the kids can remember the song, but it seemed 5 is a formative year to start learning about asses and bats.
I guess so. It certainly sounds cute when they're singing it, but
Not having been a father, I was trying not to be judgmental, so I just would say, "Oh, that's great, man. That's
I just watched the most recent Vacation not long ago with the guy Ed. Gosh, he used to be on the Daily Show, but anyway, they did a new Vacation with Rusty. Basically, it's Rusty and his kids, and so that guy from The Hangover, Ed, whatever his name is from The Hangover, plays Rusty, and Alicia Silverstone, I think, is that her name?
You're out of my league with this one.
The blonde used to be on Married with Children. What was her name? You don't even know. Okay. Anyway.
Alicia Silverstone.
Yes, that one.
You're talking about Christina Applebaum.
Applegate. That's the one. Christina Applegate. So she's the mom.
How do you, Reese Witherspoon? Who'd you say?
I don't even remember now who I said.
Another blonde actress is basically it. Of the same generation, more or less.
More or less.
Alicia Silverstone is what you said.
Yes. So,
who, to my knowledge, didn't do network television and probably never even appeared on Married with Children, but I can see how you...
No, Christina Applegate was the girl, right? She was the daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah. Silverstone?
Alicia... Right?
No, Alicia Silverstone was who I mentioned, right? But it was Christina Applegate is the one we're talking about.
She's very talented. I saw her in Sweet Charity on Broadway.
Oh, no kidding. So she's actually a real
Yeah.
actress, not just a anchorman
Oh
actress.
yeah, dancer too, man.
No
She
kidding.
was great.
Wow. Anyway, this version of Vacation is actually worth seeing. Anybody wants to see it, it's freaking hilarious. I laughed my ass off the whole time. And then there's a little kid in it that curses the whole time. And I remember when we watched Bad News Bears when I was a kid, that I just thought it was cool that these kids got to say these words that I didn't get to say. But now looking at it as an adult and this little kid saying awful language the whole time really was cute, I have to say. I mean, I know it's not right, but certainly was. Oh,
Perspective shifts with the years, Mikey. Like for years, as Cowboy Mouth was on tour, and it was our turn to take out a younger band. In the early years, the younger band would go, "Hey, man, how long you been playing music?" And I would go, to be funny, I'd go a long time. I was in Buddy Holly's band, and they'd laugh. Ah, he's a number. And then, like towards the end of my run, this was like 2006. There was this young band from Nashville, and now I'm in my 40s, and these kids are 21 years old. And the kid goes, "So how long you been in the music business?" And I go, "Pretty long time. I played in Buddy Holly's band." They looked at each other big-eyed and they go, "This guy was in Buddy Holly's band." And I turned to Griffin and I went, "That joke's not fucking funny anymore."
it's not even a joke anymore. So Chicago Lou came on and helped us out. It was Ed Helms, and it is Applegate. And what did he say? Silverstone's from Clueless. Right. See, another blonde actress who looks very similar. Or at least Silverstone was from
So I
Clueless.
was going to ask you about, we're going to have the Eddie Ecker rant.
Yes.
I'm thinking that since we both have an interest in superheroes, we might have to have the Chicago Louis take on the superhero news this week, like do it on Fridays.
I would love to do that.
Because he's on top of the superhero news like you wouldn't believe.
Well, Lou, definitely, if you're interested in coming on and giving us a report, like on Fridays would be great, right? Because Wanda happens on Fridays, so I would love to hear.
Same.
And right after Wanda,
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks after Wanda, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts. And so.
And then I think it's going to be time for us soon to start having some celebrity guests as well, because you said that Michael Service had contacted you.
Yeah, well, I contacted him,
yeah.
but I did, yes.
It's almost like he contacted you.
It's just like, yeah.
The way you hit sound, it's like, yeah, Michael reached out to me and he said he'd do it. It's close to the truth.
In a way, I mean, Michael did reach out to Michael. You know what I'm saying?
He reached back to you.
Yes, he did. And said he would love it. In fact, I just saw him not long ago. We were filming something together, and he did want me to give you his love, and said he enjoyed the show.
He's a very generous man, and it would be great fun to do a coffee, another cup of coffee with Michael Service.
Absolutely.
And I have a few other friends that would be really fun to chat and catch up with.
I'd love to get Griff on sometime, man. Imagine you guys would love to see Griff. I wonder if we could. It's early in the morning there, I guess. He's in California. It's like 7 in the morning.
But he's a morning person.
Yeah. I mean,
oh yeah, he always was.
I bet you that people would love to get Griff on and tell some road stories.
Craig Klein.
Yeah, be fun.
Although Craig is not a morning person, but
yeah,
he would. I know he would. He's a good man.
I agree. I think it would be. I think it'd be good fun. So, what do you think next? Let's look in the future here. What do you think next Mardi Gras? It's gonna be a whole new. I mean. So the house floats are going to be a thing, right? Maybe going forward.
I hope the house floats stick around. I really enjoyed the house float. It's one of those ideas I thought, why didn't we think of this sooner?
Right.
Awesome. It makes the walk to the parade even more festive. House floats, and makes the floats going by. I think it makes it more fun for the float riders too when they ride next year if they saw house floats staring back at their floats.
Right, all up and down Napoleon, a bunch of house floats up and down St. Charles.
It's Mardi Gras. I say the more absurd you can make it, the better.
I agree. Actually, it's a good idea. Chicago.
And I think hopefully the pandemic's under control and people will be so ready to be the true spirit of Mardi Gras, that true joie de vivre, that true joy of let's celebrate that we are alive and we are together. I think it could, Katrina's post Mardi Gras was a beautiful explosion of love, but I think this could be that times 1,000.
I agree. We might even have a whole bunch of guests next year just coming to, forget everything. Who knows?
I will hope that the world is in a place where Mardi Gras can be a truly joyous celebration of people coming together. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel confident. Like I said earlier, a couple seasons, that
Got to stay hopeful, baby.
Yeah, I think I said last week. I just watching, the fact that they're getting so many of these vaccines and things. I have a feeling that we'll at least be vaccinated soon. We'll see what happens from there. But
Yeah.
but I think there was, I don't even want to get on these hybrids or whatever. Let's don't even think about the hybrids. Whatever these hybrid corona things are, let's just forget they exist.
I thought you were talking about hybrid Mardi Gras cruise.
Oh, no. Hybrid Mardi Gras cruise. Yeah, let's talk about hybrid Mardi Gras cruise.
There were some brave crews that weathered the streets yesterday to just kind of be like, however many they were, 8 or 10 people beating on drums or marching together to just say, hey, we're
I
going
did
to go
see that this morning. So, yeah, people went out and marched anyway, huh?
A few, the quarter was closed, but I saw some friends post some neighborhood marches, and
Mhm.
the spirit is the spirit. And if you're masked and you're socially distant, then go.
Right.
Although, it's 27 degrees, go with God.
Right.
I'll be home by the fireplace.
I pulled out my long johns yesterday, man. I actually had long johns on. I haven't used those things, well, since I was in Tennessee, but yeah. I was wearing long johns.
Yeah, it was cold, man. It was like butt ass cold, as we mentioned earlier.
Butt ass cold. Feels like my daughter, she sent me some pictures. She's in Memphis, and they have at least a foot of snow outside of her house, like on the ground.
See, that's a whole other level. Lou up in Chicago, he literally had to snowplow every 4 hours to keep his sidewalk negotiable.
Wow, just to be able to go outside the house, right?
Yeah.
My daughter called me last night asking if her Jeep would be okay to drive in that kind of thing, and I'm like, don't do it. Just don't even try.
They're too front heavy.
She's like, you sure? Yeah, don't even. She goes, but it's supposed to get worse over the next couple of days, and we're supposed to have a shower. I'm like, well, then get a rag, heat up the water, and wipe yourself down, because you don't need to be driving in the snow. I mean, Jesus.
Right.
It's like, what are you going to do with kids? They're going to do what they're going to do. So I'm just waiting for the phone call. Going, Dad, what's the insurance company's phone number?
No, don't even say it.
Robert Eustace celebrating getting vaccinated as well as friends and family getting vaxxed. Yes. Does that mean that you got your vaccination, Robert? If so, let us know.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
Nice. Good for you. Have you checked to see if you're on the vaccination, like when you
No,
can get
not yet.
Gotcha.
Not yet.
I think I'm in the second round because of my, disability stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other upside, well, isn't Allison, isn't she on the
Yeah, well,
list?
she's, she works at Oshner and has to go to the hospital 2-3 days a week. So she was on the list of people that.
And from what I understand, if they vaccinate her, they need to vaccinate you too, because they.
I think I'll probably get on the list on that, but it wasn't like immediate.
Right.
When she's getting hers, so you get yours. It was more like she's a priority person, and you're an old ex-musician.
No, I thought it was because of people in the same household, because you could still give it to her or whatever and stuff like that. That they would
look into that and see.
That is what I heard. I heard that if you whoever you live with is also supposed to get it, because of the idea of passing it back and forth. They could still get it when they have the vaccination and blah blah blah.
And if I can, I will. That's
You should check into it though. Let's see. Yes, Robert got yes. As you said, he said, and his family.
Good.
So good for you, Robert. We're down here trying to get our vaccinations as well. I guess I'm going to be at Walmart.
For everybody, I'm hoping for family and friends, and hoping for that time when it's a thing we talk about, not a thing we live.
Right.
And that we can be together and talk about it.
Is there any new songs that have been kind of coming out of this? Have you written any new songs? You just kind of playing piano, just out of curiosity.
To be honest, like I had a couple of throat surgeries and lost my voice for a year, and I hadn't written since 2018.
Gotcha.
I just stopped playing and singing, and as I've been rehabbing my voice, I've played the piano a lot more, and for the first time, like last week, I found myself singing a little song in my head, and I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. That's how it starts for me, as I'm singing a song, and I start thinking, oh, that's a catchy little tune. I wonder whose that is. And then I think, oh, that's mine. Okay, I'll go ahead and write it then. Here it is calling to me. And that's the first time that it happened in 2 years, and that's nice. I'm in no hurry because going to do. And I'm really having a great time kind of learning how to play piano, and learning how to use the left hand has been real fascinating. It's like being your own bass player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, that guy's a little busy. Back off.
Bong, bong. That's my guy. Bong, bong.
Anyway, so, well, I mean, I felt like it being post Mardi Gras that we could have told some Mardi Gras stories, but that can turn ugly, you know.
Big time. Plus, then you have to name names.
You have to name names, and that's...
Most people don't want you to name those names.
Most people don't want you to name names.
No. Skeet called me yesterday and he goes, in your stories, you don't really name names. And I'm like, that's on purpose. He goes, but if you name names, they'd be more personal. And I'm like, yeah, maybe so. But and then I might also get chased down. Hey, dude, what the hell? So,
yeah.
Going forward, I will always say Skeet's name. And obviously, Eddie doesn't care what you say about him. So,
no. Well, he does.
This is true. As long as you're talking about him.
All right, so I would say it was good today, even though we had technical difficulties.
Yes, we had internet problems. Thank you guys for showing up and hanging out with us anyway. I know it was a few less of you guys because it was harder to find, but we want to thank you guys for coming. We will have a better show on Friday, won't we?
We'll meet early and we'll work out those technical issues.
We'll work out a little bit of those technical issues. Paul got up a little bit late. I got up a little bit late. And my internet, like I said, it's frozen. So we got it fixed out. We got it worked out. So,
all right, buddy.
Good talking to you, man. I'm going to play our music out, and we'll see you guys Friday. Thank you.
Well, I used to keep my money in a cookie jar. It was shaped like a cat, it was a present from my brother. I read a lot of books, but I couldn't see between the lines. I'll have another cup of coffee if you don't mind.